Watch this man closely. A demon's sword is about to cut into him. He stepped into its path on purpose, and he is smiling. Now listen to how he describes himself. He says he is a coward.
俺はいざっていう時に逃げ出す男だぞ。
This is the same person. The frontliner the whole party trusts their lives to is certain he is the weakest one in the room. He has fought a solar dragon with his hands shaking.
おい！なんで撃たねえ！一人で戦えってか！ふざけんなよ、クソババア！
He has stood back up every time a stronger enemy put him down, and he still believes all the way down that he runs.
この先逃げるかもしれねえぞ。
To understand why, you have to go back to the day he actually did run. Stark grew up in a village of warriors. His father measured every child by strength, and by that measure, Stark always came up short. His older brother, Stoltz, was the exception. Stoltz was the strongest fighter in the village, and he was the one person who looked at Stark and saw a warrior worth raising. Stoltz made him a Hamburg steak for his birthday. Even so, Stark would grow up believing no one had ever given him a birthday present. Then the demons came, and the village began to burn. Stark, still a child, picked up his wooden training sword and turned to face them. Stoltz stepped in front of him. He put a hand on Stark's face, and he told him to run, and to live. So Stark ran. He ran while his brother turned back to face the demon. He never saw Stoltz again. Eisen found the boy who ran, and he chose to train him.
一人だけ逃げ出した臆病者だ。俺と同じだ。
He saw something of himself in that boy and a warrior worth a decade of his life. Stark built his whole self-image around that one day. The order his brother gave him was to live. What Stark heard was that he was too weak to stay.
俺はいざっていう時に逃げ出す男だぞ。
He means every word. When Stark calls himself a coward, he is reporting what he believes is a plain fact about himself. But we have already seen where that belief comes from. A child stood in a burning village and was told to run. Stark carried that moment for years, and somewhere along the way, it stopped being something that happened to him and became who he thinks he is. So, when he says he runs away, listen to who is actually talking. The man who blocks dragons has never abandoned anyone. The boy is certain that he always will. Then, a real fight starts, and the footage tells a different story. Watch his hands here.
怖いものは怖いんだよ。
He is exactly as scared as he says he is. And he steps forward anyway. He is already planning for his own death.
一つ約束してくれないか。俺が途中で死んだとしても、竜は必ず仕留めてほしいんだ。
And he still takes the first step toward the thing that terrifies him. This is the gap, the very first time we see it. The fear is real, the running never comes. Linya is faster and stronger, and she puts him on the ground again and again. He keeps getting up. He is losing the fight, and he knows it. He gets up anyway because getting up is the one thing he refuses to stop doing. A coward would stay down. The ground is the safest place in the room. Stark treats it as the one place he is not allowed to stay.
おとなしく寝てればよかったのに。もう負けたんだから。
俺はまだ立っている。
They are trapped in a cave where magic does not work. Frieren and Fern, the two strongest people in the party, cannot do a single thing.
頼りにしているからね、シュタルク。魔法の使えない私たちはここではただの女の子だ。
女の子？
The only weapon left is Stark, so he stands between them and the dragon and takes the hits. This is the cleanest test he ever faces. Two defenseless mages behind him, a monster in front, and every reason to break. He holds the line. Here is the one time Stark truly runs.
シュタルク走って。
お、
いい作戦があるんだ。
それってど？
A three-headed monster is chasing him and he is running for his life. He does not know he is the plan. Frieren turned his panic into a weapon. While the heads chase him in a circle, she and Fern cut down all three at once.
二人ともよく頑張ったね。
Months later, against Revolte, he does the same thing on purpose. He has spent the whole fight unable to find an opening, so he turns himself into one. He steps into Revolte's reach and lets a blade cut into him. And that single opening is all Gay now needs. The boy, who believes he only runs away, has just chosen to run straight into a blade because it was the smart play. He knows exactly what he is. A whole flock of dragons, and Stark is the first one in. By now, the math is simple. Every time it has counted, Stark has been the one standing in front. The man who swears he runs has spent the entire series refusing to.
途中で竜に頭かじられてましたもんね。なんで無事なんですか？
わかんない。
Through every one of those fights, Stark is afraid. And there is a reason that fear looks so familiar. Stark learned to fight from Eisen, one of the heroes who brought down the Demon King, and Eisen shook in exactly the same way. Frieren watched him do it for years. So, the shaking is the thing Stark inherited from a hero, the same as the strength. The fear and the courage came from the same place. Then, Eisen gave him the rule that turns that fear into victory. One simple trick for beating anyone. Keep getting up.
戦士ってのは最後まで立っていたやつが勝つんだ。
It is the answer to Stark's whole problem. He will always be afraid. He will always want to run. None of that decides the fight, as long as he is the one still on his feet when it ends. That lesson is Eisen's voice coming out of him. When Linear put him down, he got back up and said he was still standing. The fear never left. He just learned the one skill that makes it lose. Remember the boy who grew up believing no one ever gave him a birthday present? On his birthday, with the party, Frieren cooks him a Hamburg steak from a recipe she learned from Eisen. Then, she tells him what it means. Where Eisen comes from, this dish is the gift you give a warrior who has worked hard. And Stark goes still, because he has eaten this before. Eisen made him a Hamburg steak on every birthday of his apprenticeship, and Stark had always thought his master never gave him a present. This is the first thing Stark learns to read correctly about his own life. The Hamburg steak was the small correction. Here is the big one. Go back to that cave one last time, to the moment Stark finally says it out loud.
俺はいざっていう時に逃げ出す男だぞ。今だって逃げたくてたまらねえ。
It is the same thing he has believed since he was a child. The last time Stark wanted to run, a voice told him to go. He went alone, and everyone he loved stayed behind. This time, the voice gives him a different answer.
じゃあ一緒に逃げようか。
Then Frieren makes it real. She creates the opening, and Stark gathers up both mages and carries them out. He runs, and this time no one is left behind. Running alone is what broke Stark as a child. Running together with everyone carried out is how he saves them now. The same act that made him a coward in his own eyes just became the thing that makes him a hero.
フリーレン。
何？
腰が抜けて歩けない。
At the end of it all, Stark sits beside Fern, looking back on how far they have come. After everything, every dragon, every demon, every time he stood in front of the people he loves, he is still certain he is a coward. And that gap between who he believes he is and the warrior who never leaves anyone behind is the whole reason we love him. Stark still thinks he is going to run. He has just never figured out how.